Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, a rich choosing beggar needs a great deal on his landscaping or he might die. Let's jump right in. So here is some background information that is important to the story. My cousin, a 15-year-old male, and I, a 21-year-old male, run a small local landscaping LLC that mostly works in the neighborhood where we live. This is not my actual job, but it's a good way for both of us to earn a bit of extra money. We mostly cut grass, but landscaping opportunities come up every once in a while, and I am happy to take them. We live in a pretty nice suburban neighborhood where most people have enough money to live fairly comfortably. I have been landscaping for over 6 years and have had to raise my working rate to fit my experience and the demand for work in my area. Usually I charge $20 to $30 per hour of work. This is important. I don't care if you think it's overcharging. The story. This guy, let's call him Bob, mid-50s male. He lives a few doors down from a family that my LLC works with on a regular basis. He lives in a very nice house and owns a sizable chunk of land behind it, 5+ acres. He has so many cars that they don't all fit in his driveway, and they often block the sidewalk. There's usually 6 cars in total parked in his driveway, and I think he owns all of them. 2 of the cars are Cadillacs. He always watches us work from his yard or his window. It's kinda creepy, but I don't really do anything about it because he's within his rights and I just want to finish the job as quickly as possible. The only times I've talked with Bob over the last few years was when he was trying to tell me how to do my own job. He has literally walked over and told my cousin and I that we need to do this or that to our client's yard. He even asked me to take 5 minutes of my own time to mow his side yard for free because he forgot to do it and he didn't want to get his mower back out. I did it as a gesture of kindness and in hopes he would stop bothering us. It didn't stop him. He continued to bother us for the next few years up until today. So today, we were parked outside our client's house unloading equipment from the truck and Bob pulls up in his Lexus. Hey, would you guys be able to work for me if I filled up my truck with mulch for 1 or 2 hours? And how much do you charge? Said Bob. Yeah, I charge $25 per man-hour, I replied. What? Bob said with a confused expression on his face. He means it's $50 per hour for both of us to work, my cousin replied. What? There's no way you're making that much. Maybe on the lawn mowing, but definitely not the landscaping, Bob replied in a mildly irritated tone. Yes, Bob, I do make that much. In fact, after I'm done mowing this lawn, I'm about to go over and mulch a guy's beds at that rate. If you don't like my rate, I'm sure there are other boys in the neighborhood that would do it for cheaper, I said in a neutral tone. At this point, I really just wanted him to leave because I had a job to do and he clearly wasn't interested in paying what I charge. I can't afford that. I was gonna pay you both $10 per hour for 8 hours of work, tax-free. Doesn't that sound like a good deal? Bob said in reply. I don't know why the amount of work magically increased, but that's just what he said. Also, we do pay taxes on our work. We just have to disclose how much our business makes to the IRS separately. So our clients and prospective clients don't necessarily know that we do that on our own time. Again, Bob, you don't have to hire me. I'm sure there are other neighborhood boys that would do the job for you cheaper, I said. At this point, the situation was just awkward for my cousin and I, so we just were trying to be polite and get him to leave. Well, if I have to do it myself, I might keel over and die. You wouldn't want that, would you? Bob queried. I can't believe it either, but he actually said this. I stood there stunned for a second, but then I said again, I'm not trying to bust you up financially, but you know you can get other people to work for you, right? He once again ignored my point and started rambling about how his wife, daughter, and son started the mulching and were having trouble doing it on their own, and commented on how wealthy the people must be that are hiring us. Most of my clients are a lot less well off than him from what I can tell. Yada yada yada. Trying to end the conversation, I say, "Well, Bob, if you change your mind, you do have my contact info." "No," he replied, "but I know where you live." Then he kinda just drove away somewhat abruptly. Now, I'm not really sure if that comment was passive-aggressive or not, because he actually does know where I live. We live in the same neighborhood, but I definitely didn't care even if it was a threat. My cousin and I are trained fighters. I do MMA and was a high school wrestler, and he wrestles in high school. And although I suspect he is a gun owner, I highly doubt he was implying he wanted to make the neighborhood a war zone, especially against a current member of the military. In addition to that, Bob is not in great shape. For example, his comment about keeling over and dying despite being in his late 50s at most. So obviously, based on what information I have, I can speculate that Bob probably has enough money to pay my rate and either thinks that I'm stupid enough to think that he's poor, or he lives in a delusion thinking that $10 an hour is a lot of money for experienced landscapers to spend hours to do his mulching. I'd also like to say that I didn't bring up anything to refute his claim about being poor or say something rude to him because it would be negative PR for my business. My cousin helped out where he could, but he's not much of a talker when it comes to these situations. Story number 2 gives us a choosing beggar who teaches us why we shouldn't offer free work. I recently started my own business doing corporate videography, and while I work on building up my client base, I have reached out to some friends and family and offered some free work as long as I could use it to promote my own business. In one of my many mistakes along this journey, I offered to do a video for my fiance's boss. She works in service and they recently reopened after restrictions, so I was doing a demo of their safety measures in place to reassure customers as they return. I had discussed this with her boss a week and a half before shooting. Then I made contact again the week before shooting and asked him for his email so I could send him a proposed shot list and script. Contact up to this point was by text and calls. I got nothing all weekend from him, and then finally a thumbs up emoji at midnight Sunday. The shoot was Monday morning. So the next morning I sent him the script and shortlist via text message. I heard nothing from him until 11:30. I had been in the office since 9 to set up and get establishing shots. He was supposed to be there at 11. He's making excuses, he's running late. Will be another 20 minutes. Now, if I was billing him for this video, I'd be happily counting the time and adding it to the invoice at the end. But no, I was doing this for free, and because I was trying to make a name for myself starting a business, and because he was still my fiance's boss, I just bit my tongue. He showed up then at 12:30, and we spent the first 45 minutes making edits to the script that I had tried to send him on Friday. I got out of there finally at 2:30 for a job I should have left at 12 at the latest. And that's not the end. After a day of editing, a draft, and a re-edit, he has now casually left me a voicemail saying that he got some feedback, that it's missing something, an additional part of the service they offer, and it would be great if I could come in and record that. He wants me to do another day of free work, a half day of recording and a half day of editing, and he absolutely expects it for free. He sent me the voice message via WhatsApp so he can see that I've heard it. So far, my only plan is to leave him like that for the evening and reply in the morning, letting him sit on what a ridiculous request that is. I'll get back to him tomorrow and I'll tell him kindly that I'll have to charge for the extra day's work if they really need it. It needs to be mentioned that the video is perfectly fine without it, and he didn't notice it was missing until feedback. Obviously, this is hugely complicated by the fact that he is still my fiance's boss, but that's the price I pay for my own stupidity. I'll now spend my evening thinking of a polite way to say, "Get flipped and pay me." In our final story, a choosing beggar needs the best skates for her 6-year-old, or you will ruin his life. My nephew, for the sake of simplicity, it's complicated, is 6 years old and supposedly interested in inline skating. His mother told me this and she proposed I get him some skates. I started searching the internet for an inexpensive option because I'm a student and trying to save if possible. While doing so, I read a comparison between inline skates and roller skates, essentially coming down to roller skates provide more stability and easier movement, where inline skates make it easier to go fast. While mentioning this to my mother, she said we still had hers and her brother's and that they easily span years and years worth of shoe sizes because they're the kind you tie onto your shoes. Considering that the child's birthday isn't until late autumn and now's the perfect time to use them, it made me think those roller skates were the perfect occasionless gift. If he really needed inline skates, he could get those for his birthday. I searched the cellar and the shed and found them, dusty and with a tiny bit of rust, but intact and running smoothly as butter after I oiled them. Turns out I was wrong. Now, where I'm from, inline skates are like the word cool, or like Star Wars was for my generation. The hot new thing when our parents were young. Today they're pretty normal overall, not hot, but definitely not cringy either. Young parents brand it as cool towards their young children though. So when I presented the oiled and dust-free skates to the mother, she exploded at me. How cheap I was, if her boy didn't deserve better. Whether I didn't like him and how that would make her family look if her child were to be seen in those. I said they could at least try it. If he liked it, he could still get new ones for his birthday. Besides, roller skates are better suited for children anyway. She started whining, but it's so long until his birthday. Besides, he won't be cool anymore if he doesn't have inline skates. He's 6, for flip's sake. Okay then, I said. If you don't want them, it's fine. But I don't like spending money I don't have on stuff nobody needs because we have the exact same thing already. It's just not shiny and new anymore. Don't get me wrong, he will get something for his birthday. Just no skates of any kind. This has been John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.